Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
So when I was working on Selena, the series for Netflix, to play the role of Abraham Quintanilla, I put on a specific amount of weight, which I was fine doing, but also realizing it could be difficult to get that weight off. I got back into my physical regimen with James Leha, but I was still having trouble with just those last amounts. And that's when I got to meet Arturo from Laredo Medical Weight Loss Clinic. And just the products that he gave me kind of put me over the edge. I feel great about myself.
We're back at you with Gloves Off, and I'm Professor Buitron. I'm here with Grandmaster Wes Richardson of the Siete Pares Escrima system, and we're just touching base on the history of Siete Pares Escrima, how he got involved, the essence of Eskrima and the martial arts, and the benefits that you can do by doing not only martial arts, but Eskrima in general. How are we doing, my brother? You doing good?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
Good. Just here. How's everything? How's Grandmaster Nelson? Great man.
He's doing pretty good. He's doing real good. He turns 80 this year. So
He's a good man. Good man. Yeah. And I'm glad that you guys that you learned from him. You found him, and he's passed on some good traits. Not only good Eskrima, but he's passed on some good traits. That's what you need from an instructor to a student. Pass on good qualities of character as well.
yeah, him, Grandmaster Nelson, Grandmaster Bert, and Grandmaster Joe, they're all very good, very kind, very loving people. And they came into my life when I was going through a rough patch in life. My grandmother had passed away. I was in the process of getting divorced. I was also in the military at the time, and they came into my life, and they cared about me, not because I was providing something for them, but they cared about me just because I was me. And that was really maybe the first time in a long time that I had felt that somebody cared about me just as a person and not because I was just doing something for them. And I really appreciate that they did that for me, because I really needed that in my life at the time, and I'm eternally grateful for that.
Absolutely. You see, sometimes we run into mentors, and sometimes a lot of individuals will run into a mentor, whether it's in martial arts, in business, and what have you. And people do not realize that they shoot themselves in the foot, and the mentor goes and looks for somebody else to mentor, and you lose a chance. And I'm glad that you didn't, and you took advantage of that and move on forward with that. And that right there basically shows me the type of person that you are. I've known you for a while now, and there's very few people in this world that are stand up, and they're going to tell you, I'm right there. That's what I keep telling people. I said, you need to hang around with people that are going to stand up right next to you, not those that say, I got your back. Because they got your back, so they're back there. You know what I'm saying? You need the people that are going to run up to you and face the fight wherever you're at, and when you're in troubles of need as well. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, Siete Pares it's not just a martial art. It's also a fraternal organization as well. And we have people that they're not necessarily part of the organization, but we still consider them to be family.
Yeah.
We have our initiated and our non-initiated people. And as far as I'm concerned, they're brothers to me, just like my own biological brother is.
Absolutely.
So we try to help out everybody, our brothers, and the people that we include with that, we try to help them out as much as we can, because it's not just about us, it's about everybody. It's about the benefit of the collective,
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And that's what happened. That's what drew me to in the martial arts I grew up with. My uncle was the one that taught me.
Yeah.
So after I saw the way he treated other people, and I saw the way he was respected in the community and how he acted in the community, and not only that, how others respected him, and I wanted to strive for that. Then when I left to college, I ran into Sifu Kisi, who came out of Hawaii, out of both the Gaju Kempo and the Parker Kempo lineages, and I saw how he was respected. I saw how he carried himself. These were dangerous men. These were bone rollers. These were men that people to this day respect. And so I wanted to be like them. So I started emulating and learning from them. And onward with Savat and so on and so forth. I've been very blessed with a lot of people that we've had, just like meeting Grandmaster Nelson and a lot of others that have passed our lives. They might not be directly your teacher, but you talk to them and you respect them and you start emulating what they're trying to say. You start being good at it. And a lot of people don't understand that you are the residual of your 4 friends that you hang around with. So if you hang around with people that are leaders, well, guess what? You yourself are going to end up becoming a leader as well. If you want to become good, you have to hang around with people that are better than you to become good. And I see that in competition. I see that in martial arts. I see that in whatever line that you're looking for. You want to strive to be around people that are going to put the best out of you. Because if you hang around with people that really don't care about you, well, you don't have no care either. And there's martial artists like that as well. There's martial artists that don't care about themselves. They don't care about their students. They could care less, and their students grow up lost. And that's what I don't. But tell me, how did you find Siete Pares?
In 2007, 2008, somewhere around there, I had gotten stationed in San Diego, and I was looking for some guys to train with, and kind of looked around on the internet. Of course, there's the Babaos in San Diego. There's the Pulahan de Robio guys with Chief Chaz Cianco. He's an amazing guy. And I came across Siete Pares on the internet. And I thought, well, I don't know anything about these guys. Let me just go and check them out. So I called Grandmaster Nelson on his phone, and this is like 9 a.m. too. It's not like it's a reasonable time that I'm calling this dude. And he answered the phone, and I said, is this Nelson Estinio? And he goes, yeah, what do you want? And I said, well, I'm calling to inquire about the Eskrima, and I'm asking permission to come to your class. He said, oh, yeah. He said, hey, come to the park at 10 o'clock. I said, okay. So he told me where to go. And we get there, and he comes to me and he says, you must be Wes. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am. He goes, I'm sorry about earlier on the phone. I thought you were trying to sell me something. And we had our first lesson, and I'll be honest with you, I left there feeling I felt a bit like a chump, because at that point in time, I had been doing arnis for 10 years already, and they took me, and my goodness, they were so far beyond what I could do even at that point in time that I thought, man, I have to learn from these guys. And it's been 17, 18 years later, and we're still there with them. So
it is. That's the way it is, and that's when you find out that you have a good teacher. When I hear stories like this and I see experiences like this, that people say, he's been my teacher for the last 15 years. He's been my teacher for the last 20 years, 25 years. It shows something, because most people stick around a martial arts school 6 months. And they might get a black belt maybe in 3 years, and then they're gone. You don't see them anymore. And when you're staying there and you're learning from an individual or an individual style or individuals of a style, you understand that there's benefits there. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw with especially with Nelson, and especially with the group that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bert was an amazing example, not just an Escrimador, but as a man, how you should be as a man. He was very caring, empathetic, understanding, and he didn't want to teach us Eskrima the way that he did it. He wanted us to. I kind of think of him more like him and Nelson were more like guides, helping me explore Eskrima. So, yes, they did teach me a lot of things, but more importantly, they helped me learn to express myself through the art and interpret it in my own unique way. And personally, I think that's kind of rare in a lot of martial arts, and I appreciate that they taught me that way.
Absolutely. And you see the reflection in individuals, and you see that throughout in several systems.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of in this world of martial arts, you see a lot of people that are looking for rank. See a lot of people that are just looking for, I train with this individual. Oh, I train with that individual. I train with this individual, but yet they don't support what that individual taught them. Yet they don't support the events that they taught them. They don't support them in any format. And that to me is a bad student or bad element, And
yeah.
you need to be able to enrich the student for them
Mm-hmm.
to enrich the community later on. And what I mean the community, it's not only the school's community, the community in general, and that's what it's all about. My uncle used to have a saying in Spanish. It says, "Vives para servir, si no nos sirves para vivir," which I'll translate, which means you live to serve. If not, you don't deserve to live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, we have students that they might not be the best Escrimador in the world, and that's completely fine. You don't have to be.
Absolutely.
We're just trying to make people's lives better in some way.
Absolutely.
My instructors, Grandmaster Nelson, Grandmaster Burt, they did that for me, and I see it as my duty and responsibility to try to do that for other people as well. So it's not about just going to class and swinging some sticks around. It's about making people's lives better.
Absolutely. And and I've seen it with years. I tell my guys, if you're going to train.
Yeah.
If you guys want to get together with others, go train, but you have to be training. You need consistency. You can't come in here once or twice every month and expect that you're going to learn. It ain't going to happen. You have to do it from yourself. And it's not going to be 1 year, 2 years. It's going to be a lifetime. It's going to be a commitment. The more you want to get better, the better you have to commit yourself. And that to me is different, and it goes with everything else. It goes with competition as well. Yeah. Is there competition in this Eskrima and Savant and everything else? Yes, there is. But you have to pick that if I'm going to compete, then you have to dedicate your mind to competing. It becomes a different facet. It becomes a different, Yeah. And if you don't give to it, then the competition is not going to give back to you. So you're going to get very mad. And I see that happen with a lot of people as well.
Yeah, I see people get upset because they lost. They lost. Brother, you only lost if you let yourself lose. I never lose when I go to tournaments. I either win or I learn something. Either way, that's a victory for me. It's unfortunate that some people, they just don't see it that way. They see it in very black and white, terms of where, you win or you lose, and losing is bad. You know, yeah, there's nothing inherently good or bad about losing. What's good or bad about it is how you accept that.
Absolutely. If you're going to go the competition route, okay,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to go the competition route, then you have to train like an athlete until that
Oh,
peak.
yeah.
And you have to train. It's not, I'm just going to go around and hit the bag a couple of days and I'm ready for it, because you're going to get hurt inside, or in the ring you're going to get hurt, or in this you might lose, and don't blame the instructor. It's what you put into it.
Yeah.
You have to do the road time. They say road time. Yeah, you have to run. You have to get your conditioning up. If you don't do that, a minute, you've seen it. You've been in there. I've been in there. A minute, minute and a half, 2 minute rounds. All of a sudden, it seems like hours. You're already winded in 20 seconds. Don't expect to do anything else.
Yeah.
If 30 seconds in the first round and you have two more rounds to go, you're out. You ain't gonna do anything. So you have to have it takes you into a different realm, because you have changed your martial art learning or career into an athletic one. And once you go into that athletic realm, you have to train like an athlete. You have to train the conditioning. You have to train everything else in there, and the instructor can only do so much. I had this is something I'm gonna express. I had a long time ago. We had a very, very great boxing in Savat Club. I mean, they were winning all over the place. We had Golden Glove champions, national champions, state, regional, everything. There was this one guy that wouldn't want to run, wouldn't want to do their conditioning. He was just going to go in. I go, a minute round, when you got somebody else that's been training, it's going to beat you, because you're going to be winded. You might be higher.
That's a long minute.
Yeah, you're going to be. You might be higher ranked than he is. You might be whatever it is. But once it goes into everything is in a level plane, and everybody's in conditioning and everything else, it takes priority. Okay. And people, he lost and he came back. Why did I lose if I'm higher ranked than he is? It's called conditioning. You didn't put your time in.
Yeah, you can prepare better.
Yeah, you can come to class and do your rounds in class, but that's not the same as doing your rounds for a competition bout. Totally two different things, and totally two different realms. Then later on, he realized it, and then he put in the effort. But you have to realize. A lot of people don't realize it and blame the instructor. It's not blaming the instructor; it's blaming you.
Yeah.
If you're going to go there up. Now in the street, it's a total different entity. You better be sharp. So if you come to a martial art class and you're doing it half-assed because, guess what? I'm paying it because I'm going to get ranked, because I'm paying to get ranked. Don't expect that some kid in the street that his life depends on it every day to go to school is not going to put you down, because guess what? They have more will. And if your will eventually adds up to skill. Okay. And that's a total different realm. But tell me something of the history of Siete Pares that people should know about.
So one thing that a lot of people don't know, and I've talked excuse me, several people, is they think it's a newer style. It's not a newer style. Siete Pares has been around since the 1930s. It's been around for quite a while, and we had the first recognized Grandmaster of Siete Pares was a man named Carlos Jarenea. And he was it's assumed that he was killed by the Japanese during World War II. He was a guerrilla and a tournament fighter. Because after World War II, you don't really hear anything about him. So it's assumed that he was killed during World War II, and then the art was passed on to Sozing Labor. And he was in a little town known as Haniwai, the Philippines, in Iloilo, and he beat 7 brothers in a tournament. Okay, and the eldest of the 7 brothers died, and they asked Grandmaster Labor to become the new leader of the group. Information from that time period, say, the maybe late 40s to the 1970s, is it's kind of scant because they just didn't really keep records of stuff back then. So what happened to the 6 remaining brothers is not known. We don't know their names or if they had children or anything like that. So we kind of fast forward to the 1970s, and Grandmaster Burt became a student of Labor. In 1994, Labor passed the art on to Grandmaster Burt, who was living in San Diego at the time. And he, basically he tried to teach and spread the art through the United States, but this was before they had internet and stuff like that. So, it's not exactly an easy feat to do back then. Grandmaster Labor passed away in 2007. And at that point, Grandmaster Burt had named Grandmaster Nelson as the presiding Grandmaster and the sole 10th degree black belt of the art. Because as Grandmaster Burt had, he was not in great health. He had diabetes, and he would come to the park and kind of be at class, but he didn't often do things. He just kind of sat on the bench and told us what to do. And he had this amazing way of he didn't really need to demonstrate anything because he could just describe it in such a way that you knew what he was talking about and you could just go ahead and do it. Grandmaster Burt passed away in 2015. And Grandmaster Nelson became, I guess, for maybe lack of a better term, the embodiment of the art, the physical embodiment of the art on Earth. In November, Nelson had to retire, and he named a new presiding Grandmaster and promoted 2 more people to Grandmaster as well. So that kind of gets us. That's kind of a long story, but it gets us from the 1930s up until today.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. How would you say it's a different stylistics from the other Escrimas? That's what you see to others, and so on and so forth. What is a specialty of, if you want to put it? Because what I've seen with the Filipino arts, each one of them has a stylistic approach to it. A little bit different.
Yeah.
Kind of all the same, but there's just something different. Kind of like boxing. It's all the same worldwide, but there's just a little subtleties that change things just a bit.
Yeah, so the biggest difference, Siete Pares is not the only Filipino martial art that I've done. I've trained in half dozen different Filipino arts, and the biggest difference is that we specialize in double sticks. The knowledge of the Sinawali and the double sticks within Siete Pares is just quite a bit more advanced than what I've seen in other arts. Other arts will do Sinawali. They'll kind of do it as a warm-up drill or a coordination drill, but they really primarily focus on that single stick. Siete Pares does double sticks primarily, and there's not a whole lot of other arts that their primary focus is the Sinwali and the double sticks. We also have some drills that are unique to us, and how the Sinwali patterns are interpreted, what to do with them, is a little bit differently, because they never just straight up told me what to do with things. It's here's something, go play with it for a little bit and kind of, let, your own interpretation of it and how it's used you know, that's the correct way, not the way that we say to do. And that and some drills, and because Sinwali is a lot more than just, you know, playing patty cake in the air. You know,
Right.
they actually do have uses. A lot of people just don't know what the uses are.
Is there a lot of blade work, or is it primarily stick work?
So what we do is we take the Sinwali. We have 30 Sinwali patterns, and you know, there's 12 basic ones. So what we do is you learn the Sinwali patterns, and then you learn to translate them from double stick to stick and knife to staff to knife, double knives, empty hands. You learn to translate them through the various weapons. So yeah, there is blade work in there, but it's not as maybe upfront about it as something as, say, like maybe like a Calice Illustrissimo, or an art similar to that. You have to take it and translate it into whatever weapon you want to translate it into yourself.
And if people want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you? Because I know you're more located in San Diego and in San Angelo. So how can they get in touch base with you?
Yeah, they for here in San Angelo, you can go to our Facebook page, which is San Angelo Siete Pares, and just shoot us a message there. If you need to contact somebody in San Diego, I can put people in contact with people in San Diego as well. They're a little bit harder to get in contact with, but if you Google Siete Pares Escrima, most of the stuff that will pop up is stuff from San Antonio. But you can find stuff in San Diego as well. Your best bet would just be to contact me, and I'll be able to put you in contact with somebody in San Diego.
Sure. How do you see it being grasped by others? Do you think is it a system that people are trending to go to? Is it something that it's attracting, or is it martial artists from another system that want to come in and learn? How do you see it?
I think it can be done as a standalone art. Has everything you need in there. It can also be done as a supplementary art, especially through the Sinwali patterns. You know, I have had guys come through that do, you know, Taekwondo, had some judo guys, you know, and they all found something useful out of it. I try to tailor training to people, not necessarily say, here's what we do, take it or leave it, you know. So somebody comes in already with some training, you know, I'll try to tailor the training to them specifically and their needs and wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are your next events coming up? If you have any, let us know.
So we're planning on starting up. We had our little gatherings here once a year. We haven't done one in a couple years because some things are, you know, sometimes life happens, life gets in the way of life, but we're gonna, with the support of Houston Stick Fighting Association, we're gonna start the San Angelo Stick Fighting Association, and maybe once or twice a year we'll have a gathering. Everybody come on up, you know, we'll beat each other up a little bit, learn something, and we can have a barbecue afterwards too, because I like to eat. I don't know about you, but I love food.
Absolutely. And we didn't have you know, the Gentlemen's Stick Fighting Association didn't have one, or coalition didn't have one stick fighting last year, but we should have one this year. We should make plans and bring your guys down, and bring some guys from Dallas, and whoever wants to come in can do it, and put it in there.
We actually have some guys that are wanting to compete this year, and we're getting somebody prepared to start competing. It's going to be her first time, you know, going in, and
let us know. Here we're trying to put things in perspective, see when we can do it. Maybe we can do it I need to talk to see if what area can host it, whether it's a rec center. It's kind of hard because now the city, especially here, you have to give them basically a year in the front, So we said something, they're weird. The Parks and Rec here in Laredo is not cooperative. What's the matter? We have a lot of people in the Parks and Rec that are not serious people inside, they really don't want to see things going. It's you do it my way or who cares, so.
Yeah.
So we were looking into some of the other angles, trying to see if maybe we can use maybe one of the other community centers or something to that effect, because it get everything done.
Yeah.
So we'll let everybody know. Try to maybe in July, when it's a little bit hotter. Use the outside someplace, maybe a pavilion or something to that effect, because I think it's beneficial that we do this.
It gets people together and it gets people learning, and even that first one we did. What year was that? 2016 or something? 17? Something.
15, maybe 15, 16.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Man, I still talk to guys that I met at that one.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that one was they've all been good. It was COVID. Even in COVID, we had some good ones, and then we had some right after COVID, and then kind of melted away because everybody. A lot of the school. What happened with COVID was a lot of the schools closed up.
Yeah.
They could. And that's basically where it went. And what needs to happen is people that really want to do it can come in and train for it. That one, I remember you were there. We had it inside that huge sporting center. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that not the rec center, the sporting. And then we had it at the boys' club, then that sporting center. Well, that sporting center is closed now. It's no longer around. So that's what what I'm saying. So.
Yeah.
And the city rules, and you're like, can't have it.
Yeah, I actually just went around here the other day looking for, the YMCA just was asking. We went over to the YMCA and they were asking for a lot of money. And we're like, man, we just don't have that kind of money. So I went over to another rec center that turned out to be closed. And there's another one on the south side of town. I'll go see what they're, what kind of requirements, what they're wanting, and maybe we can see if that's something that's feasible to do.
Yeah, and then we had that's what happens here is that a lot of things are closed. A lot of people want too much. We can't have it. And then when we're going to have a tournament and you ask for a entry fee, it's to pay for that. A lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that. You're not going to get rich doing martial arts, man. You're doing martial arts because you love martial arts and you get something very positive out of it. But people running around, you can say, well, Danny Inosanto has a lot of money. Well, Danny Inosanto was also in a lot of movies.
Yeah. Well, you can make money, and there's schools here. There's a school just down the street that has about 100 kids. So it's a daycare system, but apart from that, that's the only way you're going to do it. If you do a karate garden, karate daycare system, maybe, and listen, and I understand that they have to pay an exorbitant amount of rent. They have to pay an exorbitant amount of things. I get that. I'm not making fun of it, but it's the differences, and I think there has to be a lot more discipline. If people if they're going to do a tournament, there's a discipline. They should get their egos out of the way, and because a lot of times egos cross, and it shuts down something that it's not even for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like people go to tournaments and they get mad that they didn't win, and it's like, bro, I could understand if you were come to this tournament, to win some money. But I mean, look at me. I go to tournaments, I look at my belt. My belt's hanging on the wall over there. None of that feeds my kids. I do that because I enjoy doing it, not because I get paid for it, you know? And I'm not even sure I'd want to get paid for it because I feel like, I'm scared that, I don't want the fun to be taken out of it, you know?
Yeah. You know, and there's people out there that want to entice people. Okay, there'll be $500 if you win this. You just change the person from a amateur athlete to a professional athlete. Now they can't go back and train in an amateur arena anymore. So
Yeah,
people need to.
you might have just put them in danger. They might not be ready to go pro like that, you know?
Yeah. So you have to be careful of that. We'll plan it. We'll see what we can do. Maybe sometime in June. And I know last year we had a championship for Lacan, which is part of Savat. Maybe we can join, do the Lacan and do the stick fighting coalition together. So at least we can, and then maybe we can get people that are interested in doing Lacan too. That's why the fighting coalition ended, because we had the long stick and the short stick and you know what I'm saying, the double sticks, and it was fun because you had people from all different systems and styles of Eskrima and martial arts coming in there, and here are the rules, play them.
My first introduction into Lacan was actually in a tournament fight. I didn't know anything about it. I had no clue what this guy was going to do. No clue. And that was an interesting crash course in Lacan and kind of how it works and the comparison, the differences and similarities to Eskrima. That was very interesting. Yeah, I would say all martial arts are beneficial, man. It's just up to you to find the benefit in it.
Absolutely. And you learn from everybody. That's what it's all about. But listen, we're going to end up we're running out of time, but I want you to understand that you're one of the real ones out there. Okay.
Appreciate that.
And I'm telling you that because I know. Okay. And for you guys that are out there in the San Angelo, you guys can come down here. The doors are open for any of the schools anytime, and understand. We'll get together soon. And anything else you'd like to tell the folks out there?
Man, I just want to do a shameless plug real quick. We've got big plans for bringing Siete Pares into the future via social media and an affiliate program. It's not up yet, but once our affiliate program gets going, I'll let everybody know, and hopefully we can spread the art that way, because it's not a real big martial art, and some people may consider it endangered. And we're trying to get away from that and get more practitioners, primarily via social media and this upcoming affiliate program that we have going.
Anything we can do to help, just reach out. We're here to help, because
we'll do.
Guys here would be interested in that, and I'm interested in for it to stay alive, because listen, I met Nelson. He's a great A. I consider him a brother, and he's out there, and whatever you need, we're here.
Awesome. Appreciate that, man.
Okay, folks, we'll leave you with this. You all stay safe, be safe. Until next time, much peace.